of the night. Based in Melbourne, Emina Ashman is an actor, playwright, and poet from Malaysia. Her art mainly concentrates around self-healing, nature, her own embodiment experiences, and connection to sensual and spiritual feminine energy. Also a very dear friend of mine. Please put your hands together for Emina.
Chest again? No, that should be fine. Hi everyone, I'm Emina, and first of all I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional owners and custodians of this land on which we gather on here tonight, the Wurundjeri and Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I want to acknowledge that all of the writing that I share with you here tonight was written on this land, a land that is deeply rooted in the culture and artistic traditions of storytelling, and I humbly contribute my words to this sacred site tonight. I also just really want to say thank you, Antonia and Robin, for giving me this opportunity. I've done a lot of poetry writing in this cafe, so it's really, this restaurant, sorry, and it's just really nice to give back, because I've sort of just been eating pancakes here since 2013, so it's really nice. It holds a sweet spot for me, and I'm very, very thankful to be here. I'm just going to start off with a little anecdote, because I've had a few colourful months. August and September, were really testing for me, and I just want to share a couple of experiences. So on the 30th of August, I decided to throw 2 of my bracelets into the St. Kilda Bay as a symbolic way of just letting go of this cord in my life that was sort of attached to me for 6 years. And I was overlooking this tangerine sunset, and the sea was skirting the shore in the deepest and softest shades of grey and blue, and I was ready to say goodbye to these 2 bracelets. And as I tossed them out into the sea, another one of my bracelets ran off with them, and I gave a bit of a yelp because I did not want that to happen. And I looked down at my wrist and I realised that it was this crystal bracelet made of ruby zoisite. And if you're into crystal healing, that it sort of helps you enhance like that sense of trusting in the universe. And I was umming and ahhing whether to throw this away. And it's just nice how spirit sort of did that for me. But I realized I didn't want to keep losing crystal bracelets that way. I wanted to sort of keep them on my hand. And I made the commitment to release old burdens and complete karmic contracts over this time. And tonight is September the 18th. And in astrology, that means Saturn goes direct after being in retrograde after 6 months. So I think it's quite symbolic that I'm performing tonight. I'm a huge believer of divine timing. So again, thank you for the opportunity. It feels really timely. And I want to use this time to share some poems I wrote in the last couple of months about holding on and letting go in a variety of ways. And rather than focusing on the aspects of my, the heavy past that I've experienced, I really want to bring up some experiences of beauty and light, because tonight for me is a night of change. It's a night of moving forward and seeding new beginnings. So I'm just going to start off with this poem I wrote in July called Growth. And it was for my grandmother, who had underwent she had a hysterectomy, and for those 3 hours when she was in the ward, I just wanted to write as like a stream of consciousness to be with her. So this is all about that. To the woman ahead of her every grandchild on Netflix, to her green heart and green thumbs, I'm sending you some emerald green light from my bedroom. It's your little petal. I'm wearing your gardening gloves into the operating theatre now, coming through the doorways of the hospital to hold your Scrabble-playing hands. From my soul rose to yours, I send you fragrance, even though you're the one that is constantly in flower. We've got this, granddaughter to grandmother. Let me hold your petals for you as you go through this stage of getting stronger. You'll come out of surgery feeling a little lighter, and all your flowers, all the flowers you have grown, are holding you now, supporting you, and grounding you instead. Every one of your petals and every one of their dewdrops, your whole garden is guarding you. Your gardens are holding meetings. They are speaking to each other in the sunlight. This synergy is to serve. I can't stop hearing the hymns of this symphony of sincerity for you, from all the flowers and plants from your gardens. Can you hear the coherence of care between the heart and the soil, the lilies and the leaves? Your gardens have got you. All the plants on your balcony, all of them, their stems intertwining. And your flowers say, "You placed us in the sun, and now let's collect all of her rays and thread them back into you, one by one, to balance out your unraveling." They pray for a spark of spring to start seeding in you. Hibiscuses hold harmonic vibrations of hope, anthurium antidotes on your anxiety. We've all got you. Heal, feel, heal, feel, heal, feel. The flower of life turns her wheels. Baby spider lily steps are blooming inside you. Let this emerald light stream in and glide like a 3 a.m. violin melody on TV. Let it lilt around where your ovaries used to be. Release the fear, release the pain as you rebirth your womb again. There is still a Garden of Eden inside. A new internal ovulation lies within you. I'm holding space for you in my cervix too. The mineral kingdom bows down to your beauty. You are beauty, not burden. You are beauty, not burden. You are beauty, not burden. Thank you. So I'm just going to jump to a little bit of a different topic. And this may sound a bit cryptic, but in the last few months, I've basically been dealing with a couple of shifts in regards to my living circumstances in this country. And it's caused a lot of people to, although good intentions, it's caused a lot of people to kind of throw me their concerns, and I think they harm more than heal. And if there's anything the last 2 months have taught me, it's to always hold and trust in your intuition and no one else's idea of your happiness or desires. I don't have a title for this. I'm just going to call it "I'm Not a Manic Pixie Dream Girl." I'm an empress, branching off from my roots in the Malayan archipelago, and my beauty works its way from the bottom up against the laws of a pyramidal patriarchy. I'm reverberating with an endless charge of positivity, because that's what happens when you're born in the land of lightning energy. I'm an opportunity for esoteric elegance. Every time I set that intention inside of me, I feel like a misty pop-up rainforest. With humidity in my heart, I know I don't have to depart to feel the tropics that I'm a part of. I'm not a manic pixie dream girl ready to shrug her shoulders and twirl away. I'm a mystical earth princess grounded in her intent to stay. I will not be Melbourne's 500 days of summer montage of romantic disposability. And this isn't a 6-year eat, pray, love kind of journey, where I end up back at the equator, lying down on my mother's lap and drinking honey lemon ginger tea to the thought that Australia was never destined for me. See, I co-create what happens next in my reality. And I desire to inhale fresh air, drench my hair and tilt my head up to my higher self, guided by my beloved earth angel mother on a continent nearby and my sea eagle father in the 9th dimension sky. As above, so below, I flow in the glow of an equinox. I remain energetically open, a fluid believer of divine intervention, even when it comes to overcoming forces like visas and immigration. I come from the land where my ancestors made deals before their reigns with genie kings, so human beings and water spirits could live in peace. And rulers await for daggers to call to them before ascending their throne. A land where it's known that teardrops of dragons are held in safety, in secret, sacred, where queens are never fascinated by fascinators, but instead wear arm bracelets of coiling golden serpents. After swimming in the monsoon tide that was August, I now walk along the shores of September's mystery, coated in the honeyed sand of higher powers, and I re-emerge with springtime showers and the violet flames of my own self-mastery. Only through the jewel of intuition can I rebirth, to shift the paradigms of my paradise on earth. Thank you. So yeah, I've been going through a little bit of a challenge for me, and I've kind of been tossing up between staying or leaving this country. And I've been sort of sitting in gardens, meditating, trying to stay in this green, serene mindset, working out whether I should, stay or should I go. And one question that I kept asking was, does this give or take away air from me? Like, does this make me feel free, or, does this sort of make me compressed in a way? I don't know, I just kind of sat in this park and I'd be meditating and thinking about this. And immediately I get a phone call from my mother, and the first thing she says to me is that the haze in Malaysia is horrible and we can't see anything. So that felt like clarity for me. It acted as confirmation to hold on to the vision of my own destiny. So that was kind of what that poem was all about for me. So this other poem I wrote for my friend Carla, she's currently lapping it up in Bali right now, and she wishes she was here. But it's just about our friendship and the bond we share, and it's called Birds of Paradise. The symbol of the dove represents Sophia, divine feminine wisdom energy. The symbol of the eagle is one of courage and breaking free. These are aerial emblems of an elegy shared between the grieving chambers of two girls who met at a festival in January. Dove daughter lost her mother to disease. Eagle daughter lost her father because he couldn't breathe. Together the birds are waving to them with their feathers across skylines of our Earth's turning topography. If we were to channel something they'd be saying right now to them, it would probably go along the lines of something like this. Our daughters are strong. We knew this all along, but wow, our daughters are strong. We've got you girls. As you walk by the beach and throw away egoic bonds between victim-blaming burdened men, or men who don't know if they even want to be men, we've got you, and we see you working on yourselves. How strong you've grown. We feel the fire inside your wombs, even though you've both lost a little bit of weight and a lot of your appetite. I know one of you doesn't like cooking, but please just order in Uber Eats tonight. Angels, you'll be all right. Let your mother and father's wings curve over your shoulders of sorrow now. Lift you up from your shackles, no more bleeding ankles. Our energies are ones of praise. We are proud of all the women that you are. From the skies, we've brought down some rain to camouflage your pain. We graced your path with our feathers to remind you that we see you soaring with strength and spirit, with wisdom and willpower. We're glad you found each other. Embrace each other as we embrace you. We fly with both of you and what you go through. We always see your eyes in the mornings, looking out big and wide towards the open sky and sea. There you will feel us waving back affectionately, whether on an intense full moon in Pisces or at a kick-on house party. We want you near the waters, walking barefoot on the sand. Remember, we're always spiritually holding your hand. Girls, you are gentle and bright and nurturing spirits, holding space when your magical realities are shattering into the pieces of crisp wattle and a packet of cigarettes. Stay strong, our daughters. I was here to make you. I took the hit. There are deeper soul service reasons as to why we left you two when we did. We feel your sadness from losing us coming through. Let this be replaced. You've been so strong, holding all sizes of mirrors up to your face. Remember the looking glass is always reflecting back the essences of your kindness and grace. Watch those sunsets down by the bay. Let the ocean refract your rays. We are holding your highest hearts up in the heavens above as you walk back out of the realms of fear and back onto the shores of love. Thank you. So I'm noticing that around me now there are more and more energies of love dissolving the energies of fear. And during last year's winter, it's always in August for me, I made the switch from living from a fear-based reality to a love-based one. And I wrote it in my diary. I set the intention to consciously flip into this mindset on the 9th of August 2018. And I told a stranger, no matter what the skeptics think, I want to move through a world with more art, poetry, magic, and beauty. So on this positive note, I think I'd just like to share my experience of spiritually awakened men in Melbourne, which I couldn't believe at first, but there are a lot of beautiful men out there just doing the work on themselves, and I really think they are gallant and guided and ready to anchor love and light frequencies into our ever-evolving earth by raising their vibrations and rigorously clearing their past hurts. And they don't always have man buns, and they don't always wear fisherman pants, and some even hide their crystals, and they rarely take selfies because they are actually meditating and manifesting. So this next poem is a bit of a trip. It's about a beautiful being I know, and it's an expression of his sacred masculine energy and basically what it does to me. I call this, you may attenuate the signals, but you can't change the shape of the waves. I hold up this malachite and I'm reminded of the mollusk you bent over to place back into his rock pool home. I kept saying to myself, it's only a Lionsgate portal, that this will be an initiation towards an outcome grander. We're just lightworking in St. Kilda for the day, as spiritually awakening beings, and that the universe had planted you in my path in some way to eventually teach me detachment. A little love you and leave you lesson maybe. Hold on tightly and let go lightly. But then you take me through the path of least resistance. Your energy releases into my etheric stream like an elixir of liquid lightning, and you're gleaming now gallant, cleansed clear quartz transparent. It's arresting to see that solar storm kind of aggression you have in your facial expressions when you finally believe in the beauty of your own energy that breaks through the surface of your skin to reveal your surge of thunderstorms within. Your movements are muscular, multi-timbral invitations into a forest I can currently smell on you, a smudging of earthy synth and astral ash. Your syncopations of spirit and silence pitch bends my body to ground my attention into this sudden activation of space and sound. This electronic ecstasy can't be written to scale, as you surround me with your aura of crystalline sonorous shale, anchoring, easing me through spiraling gateways of dimensions. Your melodies move me towards an underwater ascension, towards ripples of black and silver held in suspension, and cardiograms crack into my chest and quiver. What's the true sheen of surrender? The act of diving deeper, or actually rising higher to give in to the presence of air? Sometimes it's through your music I hear you glisten, with emotion pure and simple, like light hitting a crystal. And it's this display of innocence that makes me trust in all of your intentions. When you play, I hear your power as you rediscover your stride into the shards of dawn, and I become blended into a blinding bandwidth of blue and gold. I can feel the bioluminescence beyond your mind and soul. I've always resisted luminosity, but here you were, beaming at me, like a top-grade polished pyrite flecked lapis lazuli. When we go down the great ocean road, your car tends to get fogged up by galactic dew and sparkling critters, and it always seems to rain outside. I think it's so we can drive under the rib cages of rainbows and feel the warmth of the sun sinking within our diaphragms at the same time as a kyanite sky as she sings her most radiant song. I mean, it was through magical synchronicities that we came to be, and you will always be the prism to an iridescent reality to me. I'm in love with your light because of how much you love to give your light away. I can't capture this resonance, nor would I try to portray your essence, something I immediately wanted to run away from, because I knew it was made up of the chords that felt closest to home, too deep to deny, too easeful to embrace, this place you may try to leave, but always return to. Light never lies. Thank you. That was a poem about masculine energy to me. And last year in August, I was trying to find more ways of carrying that within me. And I came across Elon Musk's top tips for productivity. And I just thought it would be like a benefit to me for some reason. And the only tip I remembered from him was focus on signal over noise. And around the same period, I started seeing like auspicious number patterns everywhere. I'd walk past 222s and 333s and 555s, and I chose to view these number codes as signals from the universe. So I threw myself back into the realm of numerology, and I sought out the meanings behind some of these sequences. And where better to start attuning to these numbers than on the grid of Melbourne CBD. For instance, if you came across 101 on your path, it suggests that your guardian angels are telling you to listen to your heart, follow your emotions. Harmony and positivity is just around the corner, but you must let go and let trust take over. Love is dissolving fear. When the immigration officer at Tullamarine now stops me at the baggage inspection area because my peacock oar caught his eye in my carry-on, and he was just being nosy. When the man from ANZ asked if I've ever been to Crystal Castle before. When a fairy at the airport speaks a foreign tongue to me and leaves in my hand a card with the number 33 and a sketch of a key on it after she saw me cry before boarding. I think Melbourne's getting a little bit more comfortable with words like spirituality and synchronicity. And as a little girl who grew up around incense and mystic trance and sacred geometry in her home, the woman in me feels somewhat terminologically free. Worlds are no longer colliding as much, they seem to coalesce with compassion. A new consciousness is coming through, and you never know who might just drive up to you. So this will be my last poem for tonight. It's a slightly altered version of a poem I wrote for an online crystal shop. And it just never came to fruition. And it was to go with a necklace called Intuitive Love, and it was inspired by two lovers at a Mind Body Spirit festival. I call this 5 stars. The space between 101 Collins and a beer garden on Flinders Lane may have brewed the reunion between a pair of twin flames. You told me you played keys and used DJ decks to operate portals of energy. I expressed, I've just made the choice to let go and live in a love-based reality. I want to see our world through more art, beauty, magic, and poetry. I confess to you, I only made the switch last Thursday, actually. After an hour, we shifted from your SUV to a cocktail bar's booth. In the lounge of an electric lady, we grounded ourselves in seats of truth. Tonight, we focused on the signal and not the noise, as we said goodbye to tunes of Down the Rabbit Hole Girls and Stardust Boys. How could we rate a ride that was dissolving into destiny, as we disclosed our passion for crystals, nature, and conscious intimacy? There was a calling for me to share with you my special secret seraphonite. It was met with the sight of your hand clutching onto a piece of hematite. I smiled and tried to fish around for more hidden gems in my back pocket, while you grinned and pulled out from underneath your t-shirt your amethyst locket. With a semi-precious stone in our palms, our guts spiraled in surprise, as synchronicity steamed up our cores and charged a new light in our eyes. Serendipity's August stay in the city made it quite clear to see that we were always two bodies requesting to flow into the waves of one frequency. How could we rate a ride that was dissolving into destiny? 5 stars to Melbourne's unpredictable late-night PTV. 5 stars to Anna Kennedy for saying, "You do you, lady." 5 stars to you for pressing yes to having a 14-minute chat with me. Uber and the universe have one thing in common with each other. If you're open to trusting their services, I guarantee they both will deliver. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Mina. Our next performer of the night is Adam Prozel. He's no stranger to our stage.